Welcome to Gains Over Pains, where I prioritize muscle growth over injuries and joint pain. I'm Jace of Defy Fitness and herniasurgeryrecovery.com, and today we're going to go through my bicep workout. But first, I want to talk about what happens when you get sick while training. So last week I had the flu and I could not work out at all. And I think what's key with coming back to training is you have to manage your expectations. So the week that I was back, my focus was to just get in and to try to match the same volume of exercises I did before I was sick. So I tried to do the same amount of sets, but my weight that I lifted was reduced anywhere between 20 to 40%. Now, during the workouts, I did notice that I was lacking in energy and stamina, which I think is pretty normal. Also, I had a reduced appetite. So I'm not going to have that food to fuel my workouts as well. So it's kind of a combination of a whole bunch of things. So by managing my expectations, I'm going to make sure that I get in, and that is going to be a successful workout. And I know that in the weeks to come, I'm going to slowly work my weight back up to then do what I did before I was sick. This also I find to be a good time to maybe swap out an exercise or two. Sometimes we might have some exercises that we're kind of stale with, that we stop seeing any kind of result with. So I see this as a perfect time to replace an exercise, because once we replace it, we kind of have to go lower in weight anyways to try to get into the rhythm of it, try to get our muscles firing in the right coordination. So it could be a good time to actually swap with exercise to introduce something new to your body. Okay, let's get to my bicep workout here. So I'm already sort of warmed up, and this is a smaller muscle group. So I only have one warm-up set on this first one. And here I am doing a one-arm cable bicep curl. I started doing these as it really puts my bicep in a stretch position, and I love how I can brace with my other arm. It really makes me feel really solid here. So notice I really focus on keeping the chest up, elbow back behind my body so that I really get that stretch. And this does, I find, incorporate a little bit of my anterior delts, my front shoulders in this as well, especially as I'm curling and my elbow moves forwards a bit. So this is now a working set. I believe I actually do 3 working sets of this. And with the smaller muscle groups, you can actually go closer to failure. So your reps in reserve will be lower. Research does show that, do anything between like close to 1 to 2 reps in reserve will build a lot of muscle. So that's what I'm definitely doing here. It's easier to isolate with simple isolated movements like this. And as you can see, I'm using the Versa straps as well because it does help with the grip. Here's just a different angle from the side. As you can see, my chest position, elbow position. I do think that the only thing I should do is maybe focus on keeping my head a little more still, rather than kind of moving my head up and down as I curl. Okay, and I go to pretty much 0 reps in reserve, so I can't really do any more with good form. Now here I'm doing a one-arm preacher curl. You'll notice maybe that I'm not doing it the traditional way in the respect that usually with a preacher curl, I'm facing the other way, so my arm would be at an angle. I'm actually do this more as like a dead hang. And the reason why I'm doing that is when you're doing it the traditional way, when you get to the top of the curl, there isn't much resistance there, just based on the arc of motion and where you are relative, where the weight is relative to kind of gravity and the pad. So I find in this position at a dead hang, so completely vertical, that when I get to the top, I still have that tension in the muscle, which feels pretty intense. And by doing it with the backing arm against the pad here, you can see here from a different angle here that there's no real room for or any forgiveness for any sort of cheating. So everything kind of stays still. Now, what's interesting is I can see from this angle here, directly from the side, you can see that as I'm coming down, my shoulders moving forwards, I should actually try to keep that down more. So I do 2 working sets of that. And then we move here to traditional bicep curls with a bar. You can see I'm using the verse grips here. My hands are slightly wider. I just find that a little more comfortable. And focus on breathing out on the way up. Trying to keep it a little slower on the way down. Now, you'll see here on this last rep, what I do is rather than swing with my whole body, I use my legs to try to like do a bit of a squat, and then I wouldn't say jump up, but come up into an upright position a little quicker, and that allows a bit of momentum just to get the weight up, and then from there can focus on the eccentrics, so just letting the weight slowly come down. My bicep workout is pretty simple, pretty quick. You'll see there's only 3 exercises. There's only about 2 to 3 working sets. Because it's a smaller muscle group, I don't do as many working sets. And as well, when I'm working back throughout the week, biceps are a secondary muscle group. So I don't do a lot of isolation work with my biceps because I want to focus more on the larger muscle groups of my body, such as my quads, my chest, pecs, back, and shoulders. So that's it for today for Gains Over Pains, Bicep and Flu Edition. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, drop them in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.